I never thought a single day could turn my life upside down. But here I was, standing in front of the bathroom mirror, staring at a face that looked familiar, yet completely foreign. My hands trembled as I traced the contours of my own cheeks, the subtle curve of my jaw, the soft swell of lips I'd never really noticed before. It was me, but not the me I recognized. The reflection staring back at me had something delicate, something feminine I couldn't explain. My heart thudded painfully against my chest, a mix of fear and an almost thrilling curiosity. Is this really me? I whispered to the empty bathroom. My voice sounded lighter, almost higher, and that made my stomach twist in nervous excitement. I blinked, trying to wake up from what had to be a dream, but the reflection didn't fade. My usual business suit felt suffocating all of a sudden. The stark black jacket and stiff white shirt now seemed like armor I didn't need, like a costume from a life I wasn't meant to live anymore. I pinched my cheeks, pulled at my hair, and even pressed my lips together as if that could undo what I was seeing. But nothing changed. My heart raced, my mind spun, and yet, beneath all the panic, there was a spark, a tiny, dangerous curiosity that whispered, what if this is who I'm supposed to be? The next morning, getting ready for work was unbearable. Every glance in the mirror made me flinch. My usual confident stride felt fragile, almost theatrical. I tried to shove the thoughts aside, trying to be the same professional I had been for years. But walking through the office doors felt different, like stepping onto a stage I wasn't sure I belonged on anymore. Colleagues noticed, of course. My normally assertive manager frowned as I hovered near my desk, fumbling with my tie. Everything okay? He asked, eyebrows knitting. I forced a laugh that came out higher than usual, too sharp, too sweet. Yeah, just a bit tired, I muttered. But the whispers had already started. I could feel them, slicing through the hum of computers and chatter. Did you see? She looks different today. I wanted to disappear. I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. Every chair, every desk, every fluorescent light above seemed magnified, accusatory. My clothes, my carefully curated professional image, suddenly felt wrong. Too stiff. Too masculine. Too me. I tried to focus on my work, typing reports, answering emails, smiling politely when someone stopped by. But inside, a storm raged. Fear battled with something else, something thrilling. Could I explore this? Could I become this new version of myself, even just a little? That evening, I locked the bathroom door, my safe little haven. I didn't know why, but I felt a desperate need to see myself differently, to test the waters of this strange identity. I rummaged through the drawers, pulled out an old scarf I'd bought on a whim, and draped it around my shoulders. My reflection softened in a way I hadn't expected. My heart skipped as I experimented with the scarf, tilting my head, brushing my fingers along my jaw, noticing how my gestures could feel delicate. Maybe, I whispered, barely daring to speak aloud. Maybe I could be her. I dug out some makeup I had never thought I'd use. Just a little, tinted lip balm, some light powder. Each brushstroke was electric. My reflection shifted again. The sharpness of my face mellowed. My eyes seemed wider, more open. I caught a glimpse of myself, really caught it, and my breath hitched. This wasn't just curiosity anymore. This was desire. I tried on clothes I would never dare wear outside. A soft blouse, a skirt that fell just above my knees. My hands shook as I fastened buttons, tugged at seams, and when I finally looked, I could hardly believe it was me. The skirt swished around my legs, the blouse hugged curves I hadn't noticed. I twirled a little, just a little, feeling an intoxicating blend of embarrassment and liberation. God, I've never felt like this before. The weekend became my secret playground. Alone, I experimented, learning how to walk differently, how to sit, how to move in ways that matched this emerging self. My voice, once deep and firm, now floated higher, soft, melodic, teasing me with every syllable. I discovered the magic of hairstyles, ponytails, loose curls, braids, and the thrill of seeing myself completely transformed in the mirror. It wasn't just clothes or makeup. It was identity, curiosity, playfulness. I started keeping a journal, scribbling thoughts I had never dared admit even to myself. Am I finally free? I asked. Every entry pulsed with vulnerability and excitement. Every scribble felt like peeling away a layer I had hidden for years. Then came the first time I left the house dressed as her. Just a short walk, but the adrenaline was electric. I passed strangers, hearts pounding, feeling their glances brush against me like wind. Some looked with curiosity, some with amusement, and some, unexpectedly, with admiration. My legs felt lighter, my posture taller, my heart brimming with an unfamiliar, daring confidence. My social experiments became bolder. Brunches, coffee shops, even a quiet bookstore. Every outing was a battle of nerves and exhilaration. Strangers smiled, complimented, or simply glanced with nothing but acceptance. And with each passing interaction, my fear melted, replaced by something transformative, confidence. But it wasn't all easy. There were moments of sheer panic. I would pass co-workers in the street, friends in the park, people who knew me as me. My heart would hammer, palms sweat, and I'd wonder if I'd made a terrible mistake. But then someone, anyone, would smile, and it was like the universe was saying, "You belong here too." I began to relish the little victories, ordering coffee with a soft, confident voice, catching my reflection in shop windows and loving what I saw, laughing quietly at my own transformation. I was discovering joy in a way I had never known, a freedom that felt forbidden and exhilarating all at once. Then came the climax. The day I feared and secretly longed for. My manager, who had noticed subtle changes, called me into his office. My stomach plummeted as I entered, wearing my softest blouse and a skirt I had carefully picked out. I've noticed some changes, he began. My pulse quickened, panic clawing up my throat. Is everything okay with you? I froze, words failing me. Every instinct screamed to hide, to retreat, to put on the armor of my old self. But then I felt it, the surge of courage, the thrill of authenticity I had been chasing for weeks. I'm exploring something, I whispered, voice shaking. Something that's me. And I can't ignore it anymore. Silence. And then, unexpectedly, he smiled. A small, approving smile that loosened the knots in my chest. I see. Thank you for telling me. Just be safe. Be yourself. The flood of relief and pride was overwhelming. I walked back to my desk feeling lighter, freer, like the world had shifted slightly to make room for me. That night, I dressed fully, applied makeup, styled my hair, and went out into the city. I walked taller, laughed louder, smiled wider. Every glance felt like recognition. Every interaction felt like permission to be fully myself. Over the next weeks, life continued to transform. Friends who had been wary or curious began to accept this new me. Social circles shifted, but I found joy in those who truly saw me. I even joined a small community of people like me, others exploring identity, self-expression, and freedom. The connection was electric, comforting, and liberating. I learned how to balance my professional life with my personal exploration. Suits remained in the office, skirts and blouses outside. But more than anything, I learned that my identity was not confined to a wardrobe or a voice. It was fluid, beautiful, and entirely mine. The reflection in the mirror no longer shocked me. It inspired me. I discovered power in vulnerability, courage in exposure, and joy in authenticity. I was no longer hiding behind rigid labels or expectations. I had transformed, yes, but not into a doll or a costume. I had transformed into the most truthful, fearless version of myself. And now, as I sit here reflecting on the journey, I feel a quiet, profound gratitude. Gratitude for fear that pushed me forward, for curiosity that led me to explore, for small victories that built confidence brick by brick. I have learned that life's unexpected turns are not punishments, they are invitations. Invitations to step into yourself fully, without apology. To anyone watching, wondering if it's too late, too scary, too weird, let me tell you this: authenticity is the most powerful transformation of all. Embrace it. Explore it. Celebrate it. Because when you finally stand in front of the mirror and love what you see, the world feels brighter, freer, and so beautiful. I am no longer just an employee. I am no longer just the person I used to be. I am her, fully, unapologetically, and with a heart that has never felt more alive. And is just getting started. The first few months after my transformation were euphoric, but reality soon reminded me that living fully as myself wasn't always easy. Not everyone was kind, not every day was safe, and my heart still carried that flutter of fear whenever I stepped outside, especially into spaces where people knew me before. The first big challenge came on a rainy Monday. I had decided to wear a soft pastel dress, paired with my favorite cardigan and low heels, comfortable, but undeniably feminine. I'd styled my hair in loose waves, applied just enough makeup to accentuate my features, and I felt beautiful. Confident, even. Then, at the subway station, I ran into a colleague. Someone I had spent years sharing projects and coffee breaks with. Our eyes met, and the world froze for a second. I could see recognition, confusion, and a hint of judgment flicker across their face. My pulse hammered in my ears, my hands tightened around my umbrella, and I realized I hadn't rehearsed this encounter. "Wow, you look different," they said, voice careful, almost whispering. I forced a polite smile, trying to keep my voice calm. "Yeah, trying something new," I murmured. My heart was racing, but beneath the panic, there was a spark of pride. I was embracing myself, no matter what. Walking away, I felt a mixture of exhilaration and dread. Every step splashed puddles on my dress, every glance from strangers seemed magnified. But when I finally reached my office, brushing off wet hair and adjusting my skirt, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. And for the first time, I didn't flinch. I didn't hide. I simply smiled. Public outings became my new proving ground. I remember one weekend trip to a nearby cafe vividly. I had invited a few friends, close ones who had supported my journey, to meet me there. I arrived early, dressed in a soft pink blouse tucked neatly into a high-waisted skirt. My heart fluttered with excitement and nerves. When they arrived, the reactions were priceless. One friend froze for a moment, staring, then burst into laughter, not mocking, but delighted. Another squealed and hugged me tightly. Wow, you look amazing." The joy that spread through me was indescribable. I realized then that my transformation wasn't just about me, it was about showing others the authentic, vibrant me. Sharing that part of myself brought a deeper connection than I had ever experienced before. Even so, there were awkward moments. Strangers misgendered me, my heels clicked unevenly on unfamiliar pavement, and I often caught myself second-guessing every movement. But each small triumph, receiving a compliment, passing by without incident, mastering a new walk or gesture, added a layer of confidence I didn't know I had. As weeks turned into months, I began experimenting with my identity more boldly. I started visiting boutiques, exploring styles I had only admired from afar. Silk blouses, pleated skirts, delicate earrings, and patterned tights became part of my wardrobe. Each item was more than just clothing. It was a key unlocking a version of myself I had kept hidden for years. At home, I created little rituals. A Sunday morning might include a cup of coffee, a soft playlist, and a full-length mirror session where I practiced walking, talking, and even laughing in my new persona. I discovered subtle gestures, how to tilt my head just so, how to let my fingers graze my cheek lightly, how to smile without feeling forced. Every detail made me feel more alive, more aligned with the self I had long suppressed. And yet, vulnerability lingered. I kept a part of myself private, hidden from certain friends, family, and even co-workers. Some days, the fear of judgment was overwhelming. I'd sit in my room, heart racing, thinking, am I too bold? Too obvious? Too much? But those were also the days when I learned the most. I realized that being true to myself didn't mean everyone had to understand or accept me. It meant standing tall even when eyes were questioning, whispers floated, or hearts were unsure. And slowly, painfully, I embraced that strength. The turning point came during a company event, a casual weekend retreat where employees mingled freely. I had debated for days whether to attend, knowing I would be fully visible. But I decided to go, wearing a flowing dress that matched the soft winter light, hair styled in gentle curls, makeup subtle but precise. As I walked into the venue, I felt every eye on me. Some were shocked, others curious, and a few were supportive. My manager approached, smiling warmly. "You look incredible," they said, and I realized I hadn't anticipated how much a simple affirmation could shift my confidence. Throughout the evening, I engaged in conversations with co-workers I had once feared might reject me. I laughed, shared stories, and even joked about my transformation. The moments of fear that had gripped me at the subway station months ago now felt distant. I realized that courage wasn't the absence of fear, it was choosing to act in spite of it. By the end of the retreat, I was surrounded by people who respected me, not despite my identity, but because of my authenticity. It was a revelation. For the first time, I truly understood that embracing myself fully could create space for others to do the same. Over time, my transformation extended beyond appearances. My confidence bled into every aspect of life: work, friendships, social outings. I found joy in creativity, self-expression, and connection. I even began mentoring others who were exploring similar journeys, sharing my story, struggles, and triumphs. One evening, I attended a small gathering of friends who were also discovering new aspects of themselves. We laughed, shared experiences, and supported each other in ways that felt sacred. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was performing a role or hiding behind a mask. I was simply me, and that authenticity was powerful. Reflecting now, I see how far I've come. The shy, fearful employee who avoided mirrors and stifled curiosity has transformed into someone alive, radiant, and unapologetically authentic. The process wasn't easy. There were stumbles, fears, and tears. But every challenge strengthened me, every small victory cemented my self-belief. I've learned that identity is fluid, that courage is cultivated, and that beauty, real beauty, comes from embracing who you truly are. I am no longer just a reflection in the mirror. I am a living, breathing celebration of authenticity, femininity, and freedom. And the journey isn't over. Every day brings new choices, new expressions, new adventures. I am her, fully and joyously, and each step forward is a triumph of self-love and courage. To anyone watching this, unsure of themselves, afraid of judgment, or curious about exploring identity, remember this: transformation isn't just about appearances. It's about discovering, loving, and celebrating you. Take the leap. Explore the unknown. And when you finally stand in front of the mirror, do it with pride, because the person looking back is extraordinary. I am no longer just an employee. I am a girly doll, a woman, a force of authenticity. And I is unstoppable.